All right, let's get through some of the details. The tax offset for low and middle income earners is gone. We knew that. Labor couldn't just take the up to $1,500 yearly rebate away, though, and not give something else. It has, as predicted. Labor has essentially taken the M out of Lamito and directed its spending towards the most vulnerable in the form of subsidies rather than cash handouts. Now, we have rental assistance, we have childcare rebates, we have energy rebates, and it's on that energy rebate, as mentioned by Andrew, that Jim Chalmers directly nominated as the measure that brings down inflation by 0.75% next year alone. This is where the opposition will try to gain some traction, but the Treasurer has done his due diligence here. He's sought assurances every step of the way from Treasury, but my understanding is he's also run the measures by the Reserve Bank Governor himself. Of course, there are no guarantees in life, but the expectation is that there might be some distance between this budget and a potential next rate rise. More on that in just a moment. Let's look at the structural spending problem, because this budget does not do much in any meaningful way. The NDIS, emblematic of this. This budget tells us that the cost of the NDIS is going up $5 billion a year, and that's even with the cap being reduced from 14 to 8%. The caps are arbitrary and don't really address the core problem in the program. If Labor want to make substantial and sustainable change here, as it says it does, it needs to return to the core principle of what it was designed to do in the first place, and that is a safety net for the profoundly disabled. Now, Labor in this budget do seem to be warming up to this and probably will eventually get there. I suspect they're building a bit of capital in first. The next thing, the biggest thing in this budget that we didn't already know about, $3.5 billion for the bulk billing incentive that Andrew mentioned. This is a Labor touchstone, and this is one for Middle Australia. It says to families, when they're at their most vulnerable, we get it. Under this plan, for example, if you go to a doctor for a 15-minute consultation, let's say this doctor charges $80 for a full-paying patient. For a bulk billing patient in the city, the doctor will get about $46. This budget triples the $6.60 bulk billing incentive, so the doctor will now get $59. The shortfall on each bulk billing patient has gone from $34 to $21. This budget also includes $1.9 billion more for Indigenous Australians. Over $500 million will be spent on Indigenous health programs, $400 million towards building more remote housing. And there's that $250 million for Central Australia. That's largely directed at the crime crisis in Alice Springs that we've heard so much about. This is a sector that is not short of cash. Tens of billions of dollars are spent every year trying to close this gap. At this point, Central Australia needs more action than money, so keep a close eye on how that money is spent and how effective it is. On energy, the Treasurer used his speech just then to spruik the biggest ever investment in Australia's energy transformation, $2 billion funnelled into large-scale renewable hydrogen projects. The government argues this investment will allow Australia to take advantage of the potential of the technology. The potential, the operative word there, it's still unproven. So I suppose you could see this as a $2 billion gamble with taxpayer funds. And just finally, spending as a percentage of GDP does not lie. In this budget, it goes from 24.8% this financial year to 26.5% next financial year. That's close to COVID levels. It's a brave prediction to say that that won't have any inflationary impact, and I'll leave that one to the economists, Kieran.
Laura, thank you for that.